can slowly, mindfully come out of meditation. Try to maintain whatever inner peace, inner calmness, inner awareness that you have developed for as long as you can. Okay. Somebody on the light, please. Manjuan not back yet. Manjuan is back. Okay. So Manjuan, continue. Now, Heart Sutta. We are at page 8. We finished page 5. Now the 5 daily contemplation. Page 7 to 8. End of the page 7. Yeah.
5 daily reflections or contemplations leading to initial wisdom. Number 1. This body of ours is of the nature to grow old and decay, for it has not gone beyond old age and decay. Number 2. This body of ours is of the nature to be diseased and get sick, for it has not gone beyond disease and sickness. This body of ours is of the nature to die, for it has not gone beyond death. Number 4. All that is dear to us, our loved ones, our wealth, possessions, etc., are impermanent and conditions arising. Hence, they will separate from us one day. 5. We are all born of our karma, heir to our karma, conditioned and supported by our karma. And we are what we are because of our karma.
Okay, good. So now you understand why the 5 daily contemplation is very important. It is the advice by the Buddha that cultivator of the way, initially when you cultivate, you must reflect on this 5 daily contemplation until they become very clear to you, until they become a part of you. But this is to help you counter the first noble truth reality that we have gone through yesterday. So the first 3 is regarding the physical body. So like the Buddha has explained, he said this physical body of ours is just a form, rupang, make up of the 4 elements, no knowing. So it's not you. It's not a permanent, unchanging entity. It goes the way of nature, means it follows nature's law. It's subject to what we call birth, old age, sickness, and death, even injury. So whatever that is born will go through the phases of life, like a newborn baby from a fetus. Then they grow and develop into a baby. Then after they are born, they grow up into a baby, maybe a child. Then from a child, they grow up and develop into a youth. Then from the youth, they start to grow old. Aging starts after certain years. So as you go through life, this process of aging starts to manifest. Then in between, you encounter a lot of disease, a lot of sickness, life-related illness. Then in between, there's also injury. Then like just now at the canteen breakfast, I think Sui and Pamasri, they were discussing about some Kayamita who can't make it is because their eye develop problem, their vision problem. And all this can be very traumatic if you don't understand. In fact, a lot of these diseases are either DNA coded or karmic past conditioning. So in order to break all this, you need to develop the understanding of the nature's law that governs life existence, especially the law of karma. Asking for forgiveness, repentance, then do what you need to do. Then sincerely repent, develop the cultivation, follow the advice of the Buddha, then invoke power of merits for turnaround. Yeah. Then have the understanding that all these are reality that is already in existence throughout the distant past until now. So like the 5 daily contemplation, the first 3 is related to the first 4 reality. Because it's only element, no knowing, how can it be you? That's why you will be subject to decay, getting old, getting sick, be injured. And finally, devoid of consciousness, they call death. That's why they say birth is the beginning. Death is a certainty. So birth and death are undeniable reality within existence. Then number 4 is the reality of existence. Separation from loved one, prized possession, wealth, whatever business or things that you hold on to dearly. Because they are dependent originating, impermanent, condition arising. Hence, they will separate from you. Either your breath stops and you cease to be the ownership, there is still separation. Or before you die, condition changes, it leads to separation. So these are reality. And if these are reality, you have to confront them with wisdom. When you need to endure, you endure. When you need to seek solution, help to maybe minimize the effect, do it. So all this is what the Dhamma is all about. Then the last one is like I explained earlier on. We are all born our karma, heir to our karma, conditions supported by our karma, and we are what we are because of our karma. Knowing that we need to take care of karma because our life is almost 100% karmically conditioned and driven. We are born of it, we inherit everything. So that is the most important thing that we need to understand and take care. That's why to take care of karma, you need to follow the advice of the Buddha. We are avoiding all evil, do good, and purifying the mind. Okay, so hopefully these 5 can help you develop the initial wisdom to overcome the first noble truth reality when they hit the 8 condition. Okay, read on.
Meaning of craving, meditation, and attachment or clinging. Craving means wanting things your way. Reacting to means craving leading to suffering. Meditation means listening, hearing, or reading, plus contemplation, plus direct seeing, leading to awakening.
So this is based on the 3 types of wisdom taught by the Buddha. Because this is what the 3 turning of the Four Noble Truth is. When the Buddha awakened and first teach the Four Noble Truth to the 5 ascetics via his first sermon, Dhammacakkappavattana Sutra, he proclaimed it very clearly. He said, this Four Noble Truth and its 3 turning. Even he himself as a bodhisattva earlier on when he cultivated, he need to understand it, realize it, before he can proclaim to be the enlightened one. And because of that, he said, the first turning, he just proclaimed the sutta. And through hearing, nowadays may be better, right? Instead of only hearing or listening, You can also read about it. You can also research on the internet and all those things. You got printed media, you got recording, you got video. So the first turning nowadays are more easy. But at the same time, there is also the other aspect of non-authenticity of the teaching. So what you hear and what you receive or listen to or read about may not be the authentic teaching, and the true authentic teaching are very rare. That's why nowadays, first turning wisdom is not easy to come by. Yeah. But our AI thing and the computer, I think they are quite smart. I think. They know how to filter and improve, self-improving. Then maybe sooner or later they will evolve. Yeah? The more correct teaching. Whatever it is, all this depends on one's karmic inheritance and affinity with Triple Gem. You see, when you don't have this affinity with Triple Gem, you cannot receive this teaching. That's why in the olden days, there was no writing, nothing. People depend on hearing, listening. And if it's non-sasana, without the enlightened being, especially non-sasana without the Buddha's teaching, Sammasambuddha, you can't really have an opportunity to even perceive or listen or hear any of this teaching. Yeah. But during that time, a lot of cultivators who has the affinity Triple Gem, with all the great beings, they'll be born. They'll be born. That's why during the time of the Buddha, a lot of them, through listening, they awaken. Yeah. Then after you listen, if you still cannot understand or haven't developed much understanding, you can reflect on what has been proclaimed or taught. Then after you reflect, you contemplate, you inquire. That's why the 15 minutes of contemplation is about this. Whatever you have heard from me, sharing everything, you reflect. You don't have to accept. You reflect, contemplate. Then you ask yourself, how can I understand this? Why did the Buddha teach this? Why did Brother Theo use this to explain and help us develop the understanding? So you contemplate, you reflect. Then you inquire, how can I develop the cultivation? Develop the understanding to awaken. And all this will result in the second turning wisdom, which the Buddha called Chintamaya Panya. Means after you have reflected, contemplated, inquired, then you stabilize the understanding. It's just like you study any subject matter. First time, when it's taught by the lecturer or the teacher, if it's a new subject or new topic, you like, don't know head or tail. You cannot follow. Unless you have your past. The moment they speak, you become very interested. Yeah, there is a few you like. It's like child talented with music from the past. The moment they hear that type of music, they get drawn to it. So like the teaching, the moment I saw the Four Noble Truths, I got drawn to it. And whenever I hear truth, even when I'm very young, straight away it has impact on me. The imprint is very clear. I still remember when I was in primary school, standard 3 or standard 4, when the teacher just mentioned about this Lao Tzu, my nature like interested. No? Then the book he teaches, Tao Te Ching, he straight away strike me. Very straight. That's why if you have the past, all this can come. So when it comes to second turning wisdom, we need to reflect, contemplate, and inquire to stabilize all this understanding. Then it like develop the base for you to receive higher truth, to understand higher teaching, then to have the ability to develop the third turning wisdom. The third turning wisdom is called Bhavanamaya Panya. Wisdom born of Bhavana cultivation, or the meditative training, which involves the direct seeing. As I here, I put as direct seeing leading to awakening, the silent mind, awareness nature within. Okay? Then the last part is attachment. What is attachment? By now, I think you understand that when you attach to something, means you grasp and cling onto that thing, and you desire that thing. That's like covetousness, possessiveness. These are all attachment. When you crave strongly, when you desire it, these are attachment. Attachment come very easily, especially through relationship. When you initially wants to have that good relationship, you really go all out to try to achieve it. But then, relationship every time, it breaks down most of the time. After some time, they get used to everything already, nothing like the early day already. Then what happened? The negative part manifests. They start to get bored. They start to see all the quarrel, the scramble, the argument, and all those things. Then they develop a lot of negative thought process. Aiyo, why my spouse like that? Last time when young, when we were courting, everything also very nice. Honey here, honey there. Everything also very courteous. Don't worry, take your time. After marriage, the reality strikes. Why so much thing to do? Quick, got to go already. So all these are the reality, like the English author. You heard of Alexander Pope? How many of you haven't heard of it? Everybody heard of it. What did he say? He said reality begins after. You all don't read literature. Reality begins after the first day of marriage. Heard of this? No, you go and Google Alexander Pope. It's a famous saying. A lot of people actually appreciate what he says. Okay, Maya, go. Otherwise, we will be too slow. Page 9 only now, second day.
Okay.
Last time, second day, we already almost 100 pages. Yeah, last time was a different class, where we no need to explain so much. We can just go through. Yeah.
The 10 perfections or paramita of the Theravada tradition. Number 1, dana, giving or generosity. Number 2, sila, morality. Number 3, nikama, renunciation. Number 4, panya, wisdom. Number 5, viriya, spiritual zeal or strong tenacity, energy to cultivate. Number 6, kanti, patience. Number 7, sacha, truthfulness. Number 8, atitana, aspiration or resolution or self-determination. Number 9, metta, loving kindness. Number 10, upekkha, equanimity. These are the 10 perfections that the Bodhisattva who is intent to be a Sama Sambuddha must cultivate and perfect. The 6 perfections or paramitas of the Mahayana tradition. Number 1, dana, giving, generosity. Number 2, kanti, patience. Number 3, daya, samadhi. Number 4, sila, precepts or morality. Number 5, viriya, vigor or spiritual zeal. Number 6, prajna, wisdom. Words of wisdom by the Buddha, extracted from the Dhammapada verses on avoiding all evil, do good and purifying the mind, while having the right view with regards to the law of karma. Verse 1. Mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. Everything arises from the mind. So, if one speaks, acts, and thinks with a wicked, unwholesome mind, then suffering will follow one like the wheel that follows the hoof of the ox. Verse 2. Mind is the forerunner of all things. Mind is chief. Everything arises from the mind. So if one speaks, acts, and thinks with a pure, wholesome mind, then happiness will follow one like the shadow that never leaves him. Verse 183. All evils have to be avoided. Cultivate whatever good when there are conditions and purify the mind. This is the advice of all Buddhas. Dhammapada verses 21, 22, and 23 on heedfulness, Apama Dawaga. Verse 21. Heedfulness is the path to the deathless. Heedlessness is the path to the death. The heedful do not die. The heedless are as if dead. Verse 22. Distinctly understanding this difference, the wise intend on heedfulness and rejoice in the realm of Aryas or the enlightened ones. Verse 23. The constantly meditative, the ever mindful, and the steadfast one realizes the born-free Nibbana. Buddha's advice before his parinibbana. Apamadena sampadeta. Strive on with heedfulness. Note, the heedful never die, eternal life spiritually. The heedless are as if dead spiritually. No chance of gaining enlightenment. Final summary of the first noble truth of dukkha. In short, it is the attachment or grasping and clinging to the five grasping aggregates or upadana khandha of form and mind via one's delusion or ignorance that I call dukkha. The word dukkha or Sanskrit dukkha is one of those Pali terms that cannot be translated adequately into English by one word, for no English word covers the same ground as dukkha in Pali. Suffering, ill will, anguish, unsatisfactoriness are some favorite renderings. The words pain, misery, sorrow, conflict, and so forth are also used. The word dukkha, however, includes all that and more than that. Reference page 37 of the Buddha's Ancient Path by Biyadasi Thera. The 7 factors of enlightenment or Sata Bojjhanga. Sati or mindfulness is the first of the 7 factors of enlightenment, followed by the investigations of Dhamma or Dhamma Vichaya, which is the second factor of enlightenment. Without sati, one cannot be heedful or ever mindful. Hence, one cannot investigate the Dhamma. That is the reason why sati or heedfulness is very important. For sati is life because the heedless are as if deaf. With sati, one can investigate the Dhamma, and if it is the truth, then this Dhamma will stand up to investigation, thereby giving us the strong faith in the Buddha. Then, viriya or the spiritual zeal, which is the third enlightenment factor, will arise, thereby enabling one to cultivate the Dhamma according to the Buddha's advice. Sati will then stabilize, and piti or the spiritual joy, which is the fourth factor of enlightenment, will arise. Once piti is stabilized and becomes more refined, it will accumulate into passaddhi, or tranquility of mind, which is the fifth factor of enlightenment. With passaddhi becoming more and more suitable, the mind will accumulate into samadhi, a stable, collected, and unwavering mind, which is the sixth enlightenment factor. With sati and samadhi in place, wisdom or panya will keep on arising, giving rise to the last or seventh enlightenment factor, which is equanimity or upekkha. Note: Samadhi is a stable, collected, and unwavering mind that does not waver at the moment of sense experiences while in the midst of life. The three universal characteristics: number 1, anicca, impermanence; number 2, dukkha, suffering; and anatta, number 3, non-self and empty nature, not a permanent, unchanging entity. The 5 universal laws.
Here the empty nature means empty nature or existent. Existent, although you can see like very real, like a lot of things happening. But towards the end, is it real? It's not what you think. It's empty in the sense that you cannot like do anything to it, understand? You can only recall them through memory. You cannot deny all these things happen. That's why you are born into this world. You come with nothing. 来也空. Then when you die, 去也空. Means you come empty. You go empty. Then in between, what do? You do a lot of things. You go through suffering, you go through life, you do a lot of funny things, unless you had the Dhamma. Then in between, what did you do? You strive so hard for what? Namo, the third stanza, Namo 施主何必苦苦为空流泪. Those who can understand Mandarin will rejoice. He said, you come empty when you are born. When you die, you also live empty. Then in between, why do you toil over emptiness? Do you understand? That is the meaning of empty nature existence. Like I said, since birth until now, you cannot deny you have gone through that phase of life. But whether you are mindful of it, aware of what happened, and really live it, or you existed through life, that depends on the individual. But then I ask you, is it real? Yeah? All those things that happen, of course you cannot deny it happened, yeah? But to you, now, is it real? It's all gone, isn't it? Past already gone, isn't it? Everything that arises and passes away ceases, isn't it? Then what is the reality? That's why I see it clearly. The only thing living being can do is what? There is a famous Mandarin song, 往事只能回味. You can only recall the past, understand? So after you pass away, or any famous being pass away, when people who has the memory, maybe through history or what of him, can recall the story or whatever. But then, when all these people no more, does it really matter whether it exists or it don't exist? No different, isn't it? That's why existence is not what you think. So the word empty nature is about existence, about life. It's empty. 来也空, 去也空. Everything is dependent originated. Condition arising, causal phenomena. No change, permanent, unchanging entity in between. It's not what you think. That's why when you are mindful, aware, you can see this characteristic. Impermanent manifesting. That you want things your way, which is not in accordance with nature's law, you suffer. The reality, universal characteristic of suffering, manifests everywhere. Even in the First Noble Truth, when you cannot get what you want, when things don't go your way. Because that is nature. Condition like that, things will be like that. It cannot be otherwise. Then because it's impermanent, it's not a permanent, unchanging entity, then how can you own it? How can you say, this is me, this is I, therefore all this can be mine? They come and go, dependent originating. It's just a phenomenon, mental, physical. They manifest and they cease. Even nature's phenomena, they come and they go. There is no reality. So everything that you observe in life, in existence, you have to contemplate, reflect, then ask yourself, what is life? Now we go into that. Maybe we start this early for this retreat. What is life? To live life is to exist, correct or not? Correct or not? So life and existence similar or not? Definitely similar, isn't it? So to live life is to exist. And to exist means what? To go through time, isn't it? And to understand this is very important. So existence and life is time related. If I can understand time, I understand life, I understand the whole of existence, isn't it? True or not? So, to understand time is very simple, isn't it? The whole spectrum of time is what? Past, present, and future. Okay, so with these three, present and future. This is the whole spectrum of time. So you can understand this, you understand life. What is past? Something that has happened before, isn't it? True or not? So past is already gone. Is it a reality? Definitely not a reality. Future haven't happened yet, isn't it? Yet to come. It's also not a reality. Not a reality. What about this present moment? This is the only reality in life there. This moment. Everything is happening only within this moment. These are illusionary time created through what? Memory, through your thought process. Understand not? These are also illusionary time projected by your mundane thinking. So these two, if it's not a reality, then you have to be careful when you project them. If you project them without understanding, then because it's not a reality, and yet you are afflicted. When you recall the unhappy past, what happened? Sorrow, lamentation, everything happened. When you project your thought into the future, you develop unnecessary fear, worry, anxiety. Haven't happened yet, but you project. You say, oh, what happened if people come to know what I do? If the company come to know about my action that lead to CBT, all those things, police case, like drugs and all those things. So fear arises through thought projection into the past and the future. And they are illusionary time. This one, projecting into the past, is attachment, clinging, especially the separation part. When you lost your loved one, when you lost something very dear, you recall, and it conditions so much sorrow, so much what they call depressive thought, unhappy thought. And some people cannot live with it because they remorse, they regret, and do a lot of nonsense. Then suicidal thought and all things. So these are deluded people who deal with past and future, not knowing that they are not a reality. But don't get me wrong, huh? It doesn't mean you cannot plan your future. It doesn't mean you cannot recall your past. That's why history is about past, isn't it? It's for people to learn from what happened. So if you recall and project and plan wisely, nothing wrong, understand or not? But if you project and develop fear, worry, anxiety, it's the wrong thought, understand or not? What are wrong thought? You recall through memory or the wrong thought. The wrong thought are thought that condition your fear, worry, anxiety, sorrow, and lamentation, and suffering. That are wrong thought. And those thoughts have the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. So to live life means to focus on the present moment. Present moment means what? Moment to moment. Moment to moment, this is the only reality in life. And highest in life. That's why when you have sati or mindfulness, that is life. Because you are in the present moment, understand? Present moment. So this is the only reality, and highest in life. And I ask you a question, how stable is this present moment? Huh? When you talk about it, that moment you talk, gone. Split second is dead and gone. And that is the only reality. So how real can life be? Do you see this point clearly? You can only be aware of the moment to be fully present so that you can understand what is going on in life. That's why the silent observation of what is life. And that is sati. Present moment awareness. And sati is life because without this, you don't live life. You existed through life. So when you see this clearly, then you realize within the silent observation, everything is dependent originating. Come and go, arising and passing away. Split second is dead and gone, dead and gone. You cannot catch, you cannot hold. Nothing is real. Understand not? Everything just flow. Like my teacher say, Ajayendra, mighty nature rolling by. You understand not? Everything governed by nature's law. It's just a flow. Following nature's law, that's it. And that is what existence is all. So when you understand existence, you understand life, you know how to live life. But the Four Noble Truths is a separate thing, understand not? So when you understand this, you are not deluded by the past and the future. You use it appropriately. But you don't go and project wrong thought. Okay? There is one more thing. Moment to moment, life passes by. That is the only reality. Okay? What are you doing? What are living beings doing? You ask and inquire about that question, your second turning wisdom will stabilize. What are you all doing? Human beings are too busy planning, worrying about life. Understand not? You plan and you worry. You plan and you get excited too. But you never live life. So most people are not with the moment because they don't have present moment awareness. The pure awareness nature within has not been developed. That's why they are not able to be with the moment to experience all of the pristine beauty and wonders of life. Actually, within life, every moment is so pristine, so beautiful. Even the crying, you know how to observe it. So when you don't understand, you allow your brain to interfere and create all the views, opinion, conditioning, habitual tendency, belief system, then this thing cloud the mundane thinking. And it screen and cloud the true pure awareness nature. That's why it failed to develop the direct seeing, the understanding of what is, and it failed to understand what is going on in life, which means you never live life. Okay? Yeah. Okay, Maya, continue.
The five universal laws or orders, pancha niyamas, that govern all of life and existence in this universe are: first two are scientific laws of Uttu Niyama, or the physical law of nature, and two, Bija Niyama, or the biological order of nature. Next three are spiritual laws of nature, of Karma Niyama, or the law of karma, Chitta Niyama, or the law of the mind, and Dhamma Niyama, or the law of truth, Dhamma, as taught by the Buddha. Understanding these three spiritual laws that govern all of our life and existence will give rise to the three important right views as taught by the Buddha in his Noble Eightfold Path, i.e. right view with regards to the law of karma, i.e. you reap what you sow. Do good begets good, and do evil begets evil. And you are born of your karma, heir to your karma, conditioned and supported by your karma. And you are what you are because of your karma, etc. Number two, law of the mind, i.e. the 12 links, dependent origination, or paticca samuppada. 3. Law of the Dhamma, i.e. the Four Noble Truths, 5 aggregates of form and mind, the 5 spiritual faculties, etc. Understanding these three great spiritual laws is likened to understanding the secret of life, giving rise to the wisdom to enable one to truly live life. Having these right views will lead to the understanding of non-delusion, non-attachment, non-grasping, and non-clinging, etc. Hence, freeing and liberating one's mind from all suffering. These pancha niyamas can also be explained by the 4 aspects of Dhamma, nature as taught by Ajahn Buddhadasa. First aspect, there is nature. Second aspect, there are laws that govern nature. Third aspect, there is a right duty that one must perform towards these laws that govern nature. Fourth aspect, reaping the fruit of one's hard work after having performed that right duty. The 3 evil roots or 3 poisons of greed, hatred, and delusion are lobha, which includes all of your greed, selfishness, lust, cravings, covetousness, desire, deceitfulness, cunningness, etc. Dosa, which includes all your hatred, anger, aversion, envy, jealousy, dislike, negative emotions, sorrow, lamentation, grief, etc. And lastly, moha, which is self-delusion or sakkaya ditthi that conditions one's egoic mind to arise the 3 evil roots of lobha, dosa, and moha, leading to the egoic personality of selfishness, craving, fear, worry, anxiety, etc. They are the roots of all evils. If you have them in your mind or consciousness, then it will condition and cause you to become a very evil person. So it is very important to develop the training of the mind via meditation to be always heedful so that we can be aware of our mental intentions all the time. And if there is any of the 3 evil roots, then we should arise the appropriate right effort to either abandon it or prevent it from arising. Otherwise, it will condition us into negativity, leading to all the suffering. As they are also called the 3 poisons, they will kill us spiritually if we allow them to stay in our mind. Seeing beyond form and understanding Nibbana. To develop basic wisdom, one must have the ability to see form as they are, and the unreality of form via its condition arising, its impermanence, suffering, and non-self empty nature, leading to our ability to see beyond form. Inability to see beyond form will result in form delusion because one will grasp at external forms via one's own delusion caused by identification with external forms, thinking that they are all so real. As form divides, so once we identify via identification with, let's say, our external form, which is the physical body, then one will create the attachment to this body via delusion, hence worrying about it getting old, falling sick, and dying. It can also create duality of male and female gender, race identification, young and old, or age identification, etc., leading to all the unnecessary fear, worries, anxieties, possibility of conflict, and arguments caused by external form, identification, and division. Unless you have the ability to see beyond form, chances are you will not be able to see mind because mind is much subtler and intangible than the solid external forms. And unless you can see mind, the mundane mind, as it is, via the silent mind in sati, true wisdom cannot arise. For nibbana is cessation of form and mind. So learn to see form, the unreality of form, then learn to see beyond form, leading to your ability to see the mundane mind clearly. This can then lead to the realization of the impermanence and empty nature of the mundane or thinking mind, leading to the ability to see beyond the mundane mind via the silent mind to realize one's true nature, which is beyond thought and beyond mind. At the mundane mind level, one still clings on to one's views and opinions and religious labels, etc. Hence the division again. At mind level, leading to all the conflicts and arguments caused by one's self-delusion as before. Note: words divide via forms and thought identifications due to Sakaya Ditti and ignorance. Hence, only if one can see things as they are, i.e. via the direct seeing without words, concepts and labeling, etc., only then there is no more form and thought delusion to condition one's grasping and clinging, leading to all the suffering. That is, if you cannot see form and the unreality of form, then you will not be able to see beyond form. And everything you come to perceive via your mundane mind, which is consciousness only, will be like so real and so meaningful to you, hence the self-delusion or Sakaya Ditti. Also, Dhammapada verses 1 and 2 said, mind is the forerunner of all things, and mind is chief, and everything arises from the mind. So one must be wary of mind. Heart Sutra Lesson 2. Definitions. Thus have I heard implies suchness or thusness of things, or tathata. The Buddha is also called the Tathagata, meaning he is the Tathagata who is an expert in tathata or suchness. The Buddha understands truth as it is because truth is the suchness, the isness of things, or suchness via accepting what is. Important quotations from 6th Patriarch HuiNeng's Platform Sutra. Introduction. One day while delivering firewood to a store, HuiNeng heard a customer reciting the Diamond Sutra and has an awakening when he heard the stanza, "The mind must have no dwelling." He immediately inquires about the sutra and decides to seek out the 5th Patriarch Hongren at his monastery on Huangmei Mountain. HuiNeng then embarks on his journey, and after traveling for 30 days on foot, he arrives at Hongmei Mountain, where the fifth patriarch was residing. From the first chapter of the main canon version of the Platform Sutra, the fifth patriarch asked me, "Who are you and what do you seek?" I replied, "Your disciple is a commoner from Xinzhou and Lingnan. I have traveled far to pay homage to you and seek nothing other than Buddhahood." "So, you are from Lingnan, a southerner and a barbarian. How can you expect to become a Buddha?" asked the fifth patriarch. I replied, "Although people exist as northerners and southerners, in the Buddha nature there is neither north nor south. A barbarian differs from your holiness physically. But what difference is there in our Buddha nature?" Master Hongren, the fifth patriarch, immediately asked him to do chores in the rice mill. HuiNeng chops firewood and pounds rice at the monastery for the next 8 months, becoming the sixth patriarch. One day, Master Hongren announced, "The question of incessant rebirth is a momentous one. Day after day, instead of trying to free yourselves from this bitter sea of life and death, you seem to go after tainted merits only, i.e. merits which will cause rebirth. Yet, merits will be of no help if your essence of mind is obscure. Go and seek prajna, wisdom, in your own mind, and then write me a stanza, gatha, about it. He who understands what the essence of mind is will be given the robe, the insignia of patriarchship, and the Dhamma, the ultimate teaching of the Chan school, and I shall make him the sixth patriarch. Go away quickly. Delay not in writing the stanza, as deliberation is quite unnecessary and of no use. The man who has realized the essence of mind can speak of it at once, as soon as he is spoken to about it, and he cannot lose sight of it even when engaged in battle."
You see, this last sentence is very important. The man who has realized the essence of mind means what? Your true nature. Can speak of it at once. Means what? Spontaneously. No need to refer anything. As soon as he is spoken to about it. That's why you can ask me any question. Yeah. And he cannot lose sight of it even when engaged in battle. See, that realization is not from memory, it's not a knowledge. It is via your direct seeing, your nature, what they call realization. And that one is within your nature, understand? And that nature is very amazing, very wonderful, and very exceptional. That's why that thing is not like ordinary thing. That's why the fifth patriarch keep on mentioning the question of in-season birth. Means birth and death through samsara. It has continued for so long. It's a momentous one. It's a very, very important question for all humanity. Then day by day, instead of trying to free yourself to realize your essence of mind, what do? Huh? They go after tinted merits. They want to make merits, understand or not? Do good. They go and do all those things. But this one will not help you, because these tinted merits are merits which will still cause rebirth. Yet merits will be of no use if your essence of mind, means your true nature within, is obscure. Obscure by what? By your mundane mind, your mundane thinking, emotion, everything. So all these are very important questions regarding understanding life, regarding your own existence. That's why the fifth patriarch, out of love and compassion, advised them not to toy in this existential world anymore. Develop the realization of the essence of our mind, our true mind, our true nature. Then you will be safe. Otherwise, you are not safe. Okay, continue, Maya.
However, the disciples said to each other that they didn't need to write any gatha, and that surely their teacher and head monk, Venerable ShenXiu, would become the sixth patriarch. So only ShenXiu wrote a gatha for Master Hongren, but as the head monk, ShenXiu was well respected and under great pressure to produce a gatha that would qualify him as the next patriarch. However, he was uncertain as to his own understanding, and eventually decided to write a poem anonymously on the wall in the middle of the night, announcing his authorship only if Master Hongren approved of it. It stated,
身是菩提树，心如明镜台，时时勤拂拭，勿使惹尘埃。
Read the English translation.
The body is like a Bodhi tree, the mind a mirror bright on the stand, polished until it shines, so that no dust can alight. When the disciples saw this gatha on the wall, there was a great stir, but when Master Hongren saw it, he told them, "Practice according to this gatha, you will not fall into the evil realms, and you will receive great benefits. Light incense and pay respect to this gatha. Recite it and you will see your essential nature." All the disciples praised and memorized the gatha. However, privately, Master Hongren told ShenXiu, "You have arrived at the gate of enlightenment, but haven't entered it. With this level of understanding, you still have no idea what the Supreme Buddhi mind is. Upon hearing my words, you should immediately recognize the original mind, the essential nature, which is unborn and unceasing. At all times, see it clearly in every thought, with the mind free from all hindrances. In the one reality, everything is real, and all phenomena are just as they are." Master Hongren asked ShenXiu to compose another gatha that demonstrated true understanding. ShenXiu tried hard, but couldn't come up with another verse. When a young novice passed the rice mill reciting ShenXiu's gatha, HuiNeng immediately knew this verse lacked true insight. He went to the wall and asked a district officer there to write a poem of his own for him. The officer was surprised. "How extraordinary! You are illiterate, and you want to compose a gatha." Whereupon HuiNeng said, "If you seek supreme enlightenment, do not slight anyone. The lowest class may have great insights, and the highest class may commit foolish acts." In veneration, the officer wrote HuiNeng's gatha on the wall for him, next to ShenXiu's, which stated,
菩提本无树，明镜亦非台，本来无一物，何处惹尘埃？
Read the translation.
Buddhi is fundamentally without any tree. The mind is neither a stand nor mirror bright. Originally there was nothing. Where can any dust alight? HuiNeng then went back to rice pounding. However, this gatha created a bigger stir. Everyone was saying, "Amazing! You can't judge a person by his looks. Maybe he will become a living bodhisattva soon." However, when the Master Hongren came out, he just casually said, "This hasn't seen the essential nature either," and proceeded to wipe the gatha off with his shoe. The fifth patriarch then went secretly to the room where the rice was pounded. Seeing that HuiNeng was working there with a stone pestle, he said to him, "A seeker of the path risks his life for the Dharma. Should he not do so?" The fifth patriarch then asked, "Is the rice ready?" HuiNeng replied, "Ready long ago. only waiting for the sieve. The fifth patriarch then knocked the mortar thrice with his stick and left. Knowing what the fifth patriarch meant, in the midnight at the third watch, HuiNeng went to the fifth patriarch's room. That night, Master Hongren received HuiNeng in his abode and expounded the Diamond Sutra to him. When he came to the passage, to use the mind yet be free from any attachment, HuiNeng came to great enlightenment, and that all Dharma are inseparable from the self-nature. He exclaimed, "How amazing that the self-nature is originally pure! How amazing that the self-nature is unborn and undying! How amazing that the self-nature is inherently complete! How amazing that the self-nature neither moves nor stays! How amazing that all Dharma come from this self-nature!" Master Hongren told HuiNeng, "If one recognizes the original mind and the original nature, he is called a great man, teacher of gods and humans, and a Buddha." He passed the rope and begging bowl as a symbol of the Dharma seal of sudden enlightenment to HuiNeng. Although this story is as clearly stated as it can be, it should also be noted that HuiNeng was not permitted to make himself known as the sixth patriarch until later on. This was due to the fear that his fellow monks might be angered and harm him, that he had been made the sixth patriarch and not ShenXiu, or one of the other monks who had seniority over him.
Okay. So this sixth patriarch platform sutta is a very profound and beautiful sutta. You can gain a lot of understanding, very penetrative insight from it. The difference between ShenXiu and HuiNeng, you know where it lies or not? ShenXiu is actually cultivating the provisional teaching. You know what is provisional teaching? In the Lotus Sutta, I've explained this before. The provisional teaching are the initial teaching cater for sainthood way. Sainthood way means to become an enlightened being. We are the first stage of sainthood, Sotapanna-ship, Sakadagami-ship, Anagami, and Arahanta. So that sainthood way, that teaching is only the Four Noble Truths and its three turning. Enough. That's why the four support for awareness-based man, you only need to do the first three. You don't have to go to the fourth support, because it's just the Four Noble Truths. But beyond the Four Noble Truths, if you want to understand about that nature's possibility and potential, you have to really do the fourth support and take the Bodhisattva vow to go the full cultivation to realize Sammasambuddhaship or Sammasambuddhahood. So realizing Sammasambuddhahood is very different from what Theravada tradition or what they call the provisional teachings cultivation. With provisional teaching, relatively a lot more simpler and so much less extensive. Whereas the Bodhisattva way, it takes aeons and aeons and aeons, and it is very rewarding. Long, but rewarding. So the two lies in the major difference that the provisional teaching only need the essential direct seeing to awaken and to realize the cessation of form and mind, thereby realizing all the first, second, third, fourth stage of sainthood. And all this is the provisional teaching. That's why ShenXiu has that cultivation. That's why he said our body is like a Bodhi tree. Shen Ru Wu Ti Su. Why did he say that? According to Theravada, Actually, in the Dhammapada also is mentioned. The Buddha mentioned, within this phantom land body, along with perception, thought and awareness, I proclaim the world, the cause of the arising of the world, the cessation of the world, and the path that lead to the cessation of the world. Means he realized the Four Noble Truth. Why? Because this physical body, yeah, it has all the components that you need to cultivate the four foundations of mindfulness. Understand? Kaya Nupassana, this is the Kaya, understand? The first foundation. Second foundation, feeling, Vedana, also inside here. Chitta, mundane mind, consciousness, also inside here. Then Dhamma, everything through your senses, you interact with the world, they are also within here. That's why he said, this body is like a Bodhi tree. Your Bodhi symbolizes what? Enlightenment, isn't it? The Buddha sat underneath there and become the fully enlightened one. So he said it's like a Bodhi tree, means from here you can cultivate and become enlightened. That's why Fifth Pater say, good, practice it, and you will not go down to the lower rank. Why? Sainthood way, understand? When you realize the first stage of sainthood, you will not go down to the willful state. You will be born human and above. That's why he actually did give ShenXiu the small credit, where that is the sainthood way, the provisional teaching. So what happened is, after that, the second stanza, he went completely wrong. He said, the mind is like a mirror bright on a stand. What is that mind? There is the mundane mind. He is using the thought to cultivate. That's why that mundane mind, he thought is the true mind. That's why that is not the essence of mind. That is not your true mind. Then, what did he say after that? Polish that mundane mind until it shines, so that no dust, not light, no dust can alight. What is dust? Defilement. All the one that has the evil root of greed, hatred, and delusion. And this is what? Like the Theravada teaching, using the four right effort to cultivate it. Abandon the unwholesome thought, prevent it from arising, then cultivate wholesome thought, virtue and all the right thought, then refine upon it and means perfect it after that. And that is what ShenXiu did. That's why a lot of effort. Polish it until it shines so that no dust. If you do that, do you think you can live life? Every time must make sure no dust can alight, That is, at the sainthood way, they do that. But when you have realized the cessation of form and mind beyond the arahantship and cultivate the true mind's understanding and wisdom, you will not do that. Well, how did dust arise? The defilement. Created by what? The mundane mind. Well, the Buddha said, mind is a forerunner of all things. So you created that now. And the Buddha in his teaching actually got teach that now. Imas means sati idang hoti. Imas means asati idang arahoti. But people cannot understand. Since you cannot understand. The Buddha said, when this arises, that arises. This is duality, understand? When you create the word right, means what? Automatically, whatever is not right is wrong. Correct? When this arises, that arises. Then the next stanza is, when this ceases, imastin arsati, idang arhuti. When this ceases, that also ceases. When you don't create right, there is no wrong. Understand? Thing is just the way it is. Why must you have a right and wrong? Through what? Convention. Where is it not a universal truth? Right according to who? According to you. Understand? But the reality is, thing is just the way it is. Condition like that, things will be like that. Deluded people do deluded things. So those conventional truths are opinion of the individual, not universal truth, not noble truth. And because of that, ShenXiu gets stuck. Understand? How can you polish until it shines and want to do away with the defilement that you create? Whatever you create manifests the opposite. Understand? You cannot achieve it. Understand? So, HuiNeng, the sixth patriarch, he from the past already cultivate, he come born without a mundane mind. He saw this very clearly. He said, when God mirror bright understanding, because he don't have that mind. Understand? That's why his stanza completely tear apart ShenXiu's stanza. He said, Bohi is not a tree. Why? Because the true wisdom is not a tree. No need to practice one. Understand? No need to do all the cultivation one. Then, 明镜亦非台 means what? That is the mundane mind, that is not the true mind. Then what is the true mind? 本来无一物. Originally, there was nothing. Empty, like I said. Everything starts from emptiness. The empty space and all those things. 何处惹尘埃? If originally inside empty you don't create, then where can the dust alight? Do you understand? That's why the fifth patriarch actually hinted to ShenXiu, you are at the gate of enlightenment. By the time he explained, he actually gave ShenXiu a lot of hint. He said, you should realize the essence of mind. So write me another stanza so that I can deliver you the patriarchship through whatever. But ShenXiu, because he already not confident, he actually stressed, I believe. He panicked. He cannot come out. So what happened was, the fifth patriarch already went to the kitchen after he saw the HuiNeng stanza. He asked HuiNeng, are you ready? But he used another analogy. Is the rice ready? He said, ready long ago. Means before he came already ready, waiting to be sieved. Sieved means what? Remove the husk only. He only need a little bit of understanding. Then the whole thing there already. That's why he decided to give it to him, because this is a condition. So ShenXiu is not meant for him to be the sixth patriarch. So this is a very important stanza. So when he hinted to ShenXiu, ShenXiu actually cannot understand, because in the sixth patriarch platform Sutra, actually this HuiNeng, he hinted to him a lot. I read to you, then you will understand. Page 16, fourth paragraph. However, privately, Master HuiNeng told ShenXiu, you have arrived at the gate of enlightenment, but you haven't entered it. With this level of understanding, you still have no idea what that supreme Bodhi mind or essence of mind is. Upon hearing my word, he said, you should immediately recognize the original mind, the essential nature, the true nature, which is, he hinted to him, which is unborn, unceasing. At all times, see it clearly in every thought. Means what? Ever mindful, understand? Always with the pure awareness, with the mind free of all mental hindrance. In the one reality, everything is real. So he hinted until so clear, you know. And all phenomena are just as they are. Means within the existent world is a phenomenal world of consciousness. They are just the way things are, what is, as they are. But within that nature, everything is the unconditioned, as real it can be. Well, there is nothing unreal inside there, understand? And given all this hint, Hongren asked him to write another gatha, he cannot. Means he is not ready. Because when you stick to thought-based approach, very difficult to seize the mind. To seize the mind, you have to trust, silent, and allow the nature to develop the cessation. When you can develop the wisdom until you have understood existence so clearly. I remember at that time, 1989, before it happened, all this Dhamma understanding was so clear. No? Then I can even tell myself, no? Think also like that, don't think also like that. No different. Then even this segmented life, this instant, this moment, it can just die. It will not worry about anything, don't think about anything. It has this understanding at that time. That's why after that when I meditate, whatever happened up there, whether Sankara movement or whatever, that nature have the understanding. Thing is just the way it is, not so real, not what it is. So I just silent. Then you know what happened? It went into the cessation. I remember I was in this temple, 89. I came for a 5-day retreat. I was doing the normal short retreat. And the monk that teach was a Thai monk, but he teach something else. So I just do my thing. I did anapanasati, then I do my walking, I do my sitting. Then I went up on the third day, I remember. I came out, I said, well, my contemplation was so clear. Then the abbot that time, well, he can sense my nature. He liked me, you know. I was up there on the hilltop doing the meditation, contemplation over there. He was in the relics room. He looked up, he saw me, he smiled. Then when I came down, every time I passed by him, he looked at me, you know, his eye bright and he smiled. Then after the evening chanting, he saw me inside there. On the way out, he talked to me. He said, you interested in seeing the relics or not? I can take you up there. For no reason, no, he asked me. I said, yeah. So I went up. And he showed me, you know, the whole relic up there. So all this is, you cannot phantom one. That's why that nature, very powerful. Okay, so we better continue. You got any question later? We read on first.
That Heart Sutra class. Why must we go through the introduction by Master Xuanhua? Brother Teo answered, a very good question. It will be like building a high-rise building without having a stable foundation. As I have explained, the Heart Sutra is a very profound teaching, and it must be understood that without a proper foundation being taught to you, it is almost near to impossible to understand this teaching unless some of you have had some very strong past cultivation to help support you in the understanding of this sutra. Hence, this is the reason why I started off by introducing to you the final summary of the first noble truth of dukkha, followed by an in-depth explanation of the meaning of the two aspects of the 5 aggregates of form and mind in the first Heart Sutra class. This is to help establish a basis for you to understand the great similarity between Sakyamuni's Buddha's teaching and that of the Heart Sutra as expounded by Guan Yin Bodhisattva. Both teachers emphasize the importance of understanding the 5 aggregates of form and mind and why they are all empty, i.e. anatta and sunatta. The introduction by Master Xuanhua also explain how wonderful and full of wisdom this sutra is, and also why it is so important to read through this sutra diligently many times, because each repetition will reveal to the reader a new depth or a new level of understanding, thus bringing about immeasurable benefits. In a book 10 times its length, one could not fully praise its value as a key to the understanding of human life. Hence the famous saying, true emptiness is wonderful existence.
Emptiness, true emptiness.
True emptiness is wonderful existence, i.e., understanding true emptiness can lead to deep understanding of human life. Hence, life or existence will become very meaningful and very wonderful once this Heart Sutra wisdom has been developed. Master Hsuan Hua also stressed on the importance of having real spiritual understanding rather than deep learning or knowledge-based understanding, only as a true prerequisite for expounding this Heart Sutra. The main concern of the Heart Sutra and all the other sutras that the Buddha had spoken is simply to understand deeply the birth, life, and death of living beings. Answering questions like, why must we avoid all evil, do good and purify our mind? Why are we born and where will we go when we die? What we must do while here? How we can stop our suffering and find true happiness for ourselves and others? What is death? What dies and who dies? Who are you? And what are you? What is life? How to understand its meaning and purpose? Question 2. Why must we also study the Six Patriarchs Platform Sutra? Brother Teo answered, as the Heart Sutra teaching is so profound because it is beyond thought, beyond mind, and beyond the conditioned world, hence we need to understand the Six Patriarchs Platform Sutra, especially so the two famous poems as written by ShenXiu and HuiNeng. Only then can we develop the understanding to go beyond mind to understand the Heart Sutra, which is so abstract, with sayings like form is emptiness and emptiness is form, and therefore in true emptiness there is no form, feeling, etc., no eyes, ears, no sights, sounds, no field of eyes up to and including no field of mind consciousness, no ignorance or ending of ignorance, up to and including no old age, sickness and death, or ending of it, and no Four Noble Truths, and no understanding, and no attaining, etc. Six Patriarchs Platform Sutra. Based on his poem, then, ShenXiu has yet to realize the true mind, hence his inability to comprehend the higher Dharma as realized by HuiNeng. The reason being he is using the mundane mind to cultivate, hence the delusion. In my second and this third Heart Sutra classes recap, I dealt in more details into HuiNeng's Platform Sutra, and I also taught you how to use form, to see form.
See form.
The unreality of form, its condition arising or impermanent nature, and its non-self and empty nature, so as to enable you to develop...
No, its condition arising. You miss out that one.
Its condition arising or impermanent nature, and its non-self and empty nature, so as to enable you to develop the wisdom to finally see beyond form. This is then followed by the same understanding that all the other four aggregates of mind, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, and Vijnana, are also impermanent, causes suffering, and are empty. Only then can you start to develop the understanding of why form is emptiness and emptiness is form. Mundane life with and without spiritual understanding. We can be very successful in life, both financially and career-wise. Both are mundane aspects of life. But without the spiritual understanding, we are still vulnerable, and many things can still afflict us, especially so the First Noble Truth's 8 conditions, which are also the realities of life and existence. This is the reason why the Buddha renounced the world once he saw the 4 signs of an old man, a very sick man, a dead man, and a samana, or a renounced holy man in robe. Then the then Buddha to be realized that he had a problem with regards to old age, sickness, and death. Hence, he seeks the spiritual understanding to gain the wisdom to free himself from these problems. He then developed the spiritual understanding and became a Sammasambuddha underneath the Bodhi tree. Without the true spiritual understanding or wisdom, one cannot be free from all suffering because one can still have fear, worry, and anxiety, etc., via one's own delusion, which will condition one to cling onto and grasp at one's 5 aggregates of form and mind. Hence, one should realize the importance of cultivating the spiritual understanding via meditation as taught by the Buddha, to enable one to live the noble life of love, peace, joy, and harmony. Only then can there be no more fear, worries, anxieties, unhappiness, and suffering, etc. The spiritual understanding will lead to non-delusion and wisdom, enabling one to clearly understand who you are, what you are, and how human beings function, and eventually leading to enlightenment in the here and the now. Essential understanding. In the recap, Brother Dio emphasized on the following: the importance of understanding Dhammapada verses 1, 2, 183, 21, 22, and 23, and the final advice of the Buddha before his parinibbana. Once one comprehends these verses, one will understand the importance of training the mind to be heedful and ever mindful. One will wake up from their deluded dream state while seeing the danger of heedlessness, and one will then be very serious about life to develop the cultivation. 2. The danger of letting these 3 evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion, which are the roots of all evil, from manifesting in our heart. 3. The importance of arising the 4 right efforts to root out the 3 evil roots and the 5 mental hindrances. 4. The importance of cultivating the 5 spiritual faculties to overcome the 5 mental hindrances of life. Notes. Number 1. Under Kaya Nupassana, there is a category of cultivation called Sati Sampajana, mindfulness, and the 4 types of clear comprehensions of every action and movement in the present moment. This is the most important cultivation. It can help stabilize one's sati or mindfulness via the daily mindfulness cultivation. Hence, this is the reason why Brother Dio always says, life itself is the real meditation and life is our true teacher. Number 2. The 4 types of clear comprehensions are clear comprehension of sincerity of purpose, clear comprehension of domains of meditation, clear comprehension of suitability, and clear comprehension of non-delusion. Number 3. The domains of meditation means one can meditate in any posture, anywhere, any place, and any time, under any circumstances. Number 4. Anything, external form, that is created by mind via perception is only a mental image. It comes and it goes, hence it is impermanent, not so real and empty. To cling onto it is obviously a delusion. Form is never a problem if we know how to develop the mind to understand it, so that we are not deluded or deceived by it. Number 5. Cultivating the 3 turnings of the Four Noble Truths as taught by the Buddha, leading to the 3 types of correspondent wisdom called Sutta Maya Panya, Citta Maya Panya, and Bhavana Maya Panya is very important. For details, please refer to Brother Teo's Dharma Notes on understanding the meditation as taught by the Buddha. 4th Heart Sutra class. Emphasis on the previous lessons. Emptiness. Emptiness or sunnata in Pali is a term frequently used in Mahayana tradition verse. The term non-self or anatta. Tradition versus the term non-self or anatta in Pali, which is the equivalent term that is frequently used in the Theravada tradition. Number 2, importance of understanding why our physical form and all external forms can also be expressed as form is impermanent, brings about suffering when we deludedly cling onto it without understanding, and its empty or anatta nature. To understand it clearly, we must have the ability to see its manifestation via mind's perception with clear mindfulness, to recognize it as conditioned arising phenomena. Hence, it is not a permanent, unchanging entity that we can cling onto or hold onto as the I and the me, or own as the mind, thus seeing it as empty, sunnata anatta, because it has no apparent reality. Also, a cultivator needs to develop the wisdom to understand why form is external manifestation of mind, via a clear and stable daily mindfulness cultivation. Number 3, form delusion can be very powerful. Hence, if you can't see form, you can't see mind, because form is much closer, whereas mind is very subtle. However, with wisdom born of the direct seeing, form and mind delusion will cease to be, leading to enlightenment in the here and the now. Number 4, definition of samana. A samana is a renounced holy person in the robe, seriously cultivating the Buddha Dharma as taught by the Buddha. He or she is also usually referred to as one who is already enlightened. The term is used as opposed to the other term Brahmins, who studied the Vedas during the time of Sakyamuni Buddha. To a samana, spiritual understanding is very important, because without spiritual understanding, one cannot be free. One cannot understand the problems and realities of life and existence. There is a recently printed Dharma book for free distribution by Wave, and the title of the book is Samana, on the life of the late Rwanta Mahabhawa. Our Yamita Fund has also donated towards its printing for free distribution. Hence, we were given some copies of these books for free distribution by Wave, and anyone who is interested in having a copy can request it from Brother Teo. Essential understanding. In the recap, Brother Teo re-emphasized on the following important Dharma. Number 1, the importance of understanding true emptiness is wonderful existence, leading to our ability to live life meaningfully and to the fullest. Number 2, true blessing comes from your own cultivation via karmic inheritance, and nothing else, i.e., not due to your luck, feng shui, etc. Number 3, the importance of cultivating a very stable sati or mindfulness, leading to heedfulness or apamada throughout the day. Number 4, importance of repentance and asking for forgiveness sincerely. When you forgive someone, you actually free yourself from the evil roots of anger, hatred, and delusion. Heart Sutra Lesson 4. Master Xuanhua's very unique rebirth and life history. On Guan Yin Bodhisattva's birthday, the Master dreamt that an old woman wearing a patchwork robe and a string of beads appeared to him to guide him. This unique birth and life history of Master Xuanhua provided the conditions for Brother Teo to also share a bit of his unique spiritual affinities and encounters with Guan Yin Bodhisattva in his early years of cultivation, 1986. And the details are as described by him during the sharing on that day. For details, please refer to the web link or 16 gig USB that contains the recording as produced by Brother Sui An. In 1986, Brother Teo and his whole family took refuge under Master Xuanhua, and apart from taking the 5 precepts, the other condition is to finish the 10,000 vows of reciting homage to thee, my original teacher, Namo Sakyamuni Buddha. Within 3 months, Brother Teo completed it within less than 2 months. According to Brother Teo, this bowing, if done mindfully and with very strong saddha or faith and viriya or the spiritual zeal, can lead one to a very stable daily mindfulness very quickly. Question 1. Is bowing another technique to develop mindfulness that is similar to walking and sitting meditation? The understanding of it is very important. There is not much meaning to your cultivation if you just follow instructions without understanding. You must understanding why you bow and what you are doing in the name of meditation, i.e., do not just follow the instructions to do certain things via any method or technique, etc., thinking that when you are doing all that, then you are meditating. The real meditation, as taught by the Buddha, cannot be gained unless one has developed the training of the mind to be heedful with sati or mindfulness within. The various objects of meditation used in conjunction with the various methods and techniques of meditation are only initial skillful means used to train the mind so that it is not heedlessness lost in thought most of the time.
Heedlessly
lost in thought most of the time. The main purpose of the object of meditation is to anchor the mind to it so that one is always in the moment, mindful and aware of the object of meditation without thought. Once this training is done, the trained mind will be silent, without thought, with awareness within, and such a mind is in the meditative state to see things as they are, without any concepts, ideas, or words. When the above is understood, then any method or technique can also be used to train the mind to be heedful initially. But finally, we need to develop the ultimate meditative mind with silent inner awareness, where the mind must have no dwelling as per the Diamond Sutra. Then one must let go of the meditation object and silence one's mind to develop the more refined mindfulness within. It is just like swimming. The float is just like an initial skillful means, object of meditation, to help keep one afloat. And as long as one still holds on to the float, then one will never understand the actual swimming, because to swim with the float and without the float are two totally different experiences. Bowing or reverential salutation is one of the 10 meritorious actions, and it is a very important virtue that comes with so many benefits and advantages. It is part of the opening and closing puja or devotional practices as recommended by the Buddha to help one establish the faith or saddha in the Buddha and his teaching, followed by the spiritual zeal or viriya, and the development of sati or mindfulness, which is the third spiritual faculty. One can then bow mindfully and with understanding via a composed mind with strong saddha and viriya. Bowing is not idle worshipping, but instead it is reverential salutation done out of great respect and gratitude for someone who has taught us so well, like the Buddha, who is fully enlightened one, perfect in wisdom and virtues. Since it is a meritorious action, the field of merits is immeasurable if it is done with understanding to the worthy and enlightened ones. Such merits can be made use of to arise the causes and conditions for us to progress quickly along the path of Dharma via invoking the power of merits. Apart from helping us to develop the spiritual faculties of saddha, viriya, and sati, bowing can also help us to cultivate humility and help exercise our body while establishing ourselves in mindfulness training. Also, according to the Buddha, 4 things grow if we pay respect sincerely to our elders and worthy ones. The 4 things are Ayu, Wano, Sukham, and Balam. Their meanings are: Ayu means long life, Wano means fair complexion, Sukham means happiness, and Balam means strength, both spiritual and physical. All these 4 blessings are very important for having the good life. Question 2. Can you show us how to do the bowing? Is it the Theravada tradition's 5-point prostration or the Mahayana's way of standing up, then going down to prostrate and come up again? Brother Teo answered, whichever way that suits you more, use it. The more important thing is, when you bow, do it mindfully, with very strong faith and viriya, and do it with proper understanding. Always remember, one can only do one thing at a time. That is, either you are mindful with the moment in silent awareness without thought, or you are lost in thought, hence heedless. Bowing mindfully means body and mind move as one, in harmony without thought. When the mind is composed and without the 5 hindrances of mind, mindfulness will be there naturally. So develop the faith, compose the mind, then chant the salutation to Sakyamuni Buddha, and then bow mindfully to develop the sati or mindfulness within. After a while, if you are sincere, patient, and doing it with understanding, then it can bring about the conditions for sati or mindfulness to arise. Mindfulness arises through understanding and perseverance. And when mindfulness is firmly established, there will be so much joy. The mind is so silent, so light, so composed, so still, yet fully aware within throughout the day. In every moment and in every action, there is so much clarity and awareness within the heart. It then starts to see things as they are, and direct knowledge and vision of the reality keep on arising. Things that are there all this while is 3 universal characteristics of anicca, dukkha, and anatta, etc., which the normal living beings never see, suddenly become very clear. This is the reason why Brother Teo always said to us, truth is everywhere, in the midst of life and nature. Why can't you see? For those who see, they always see. Question 3. Are the teachings of our 3 great Buddhist traditions of Theravada, Mahayana, and Vajrayana all the same, or are they different? Brother Teo answered, the essence of the Buddha's teaching, like the 4 Noble Truths, which includes the Noble Eightfold Path, are essentially all the same for all the 3 traditions. It is only how they approach it that makes it appears to be very different because of different commentaries and interpretation of suttas via words and terminologies used. And all these complicate the matter further as words are subjected to various interpretations. What is more important is not to argue and create any unnecessary and unhealthy divisions and misunderstanding within the various traditions, but instead to have an open mind and avoid all negativities. Make use of whatever that is relevant, useful, and suitable for each of us to progress along the path of Dharma while following the Buddha's advice to the Kalama as stated in the Kalama Sutta. Harmony, love, and understanding following the Noble Eightfold Path to resolve all issues amicably is very important, i.e. no more negativity. Question 4. Can you explain the difference between the Pure Land teaching that talks about the Western paradise and Nibbana as taught by Sakyamuni Buddha? Brother Dio answered, Pure Land teaching is based on Amitabha Buddha's great vows. We created the Pure Land, also called the Western paradise, for those disciples or cultivators who have the affinity with him to continue with their cultivation and perfection. By virtue of Amitabha Buddha and all the other great bodhisattvas like Guan Yin, Vajusri, etc., great cultivation, their vows are very powerful because of their wisdom and perfections. Hence, this leads to their great vows to be integrated into nature's law, thereby enabling their vows to have such special ability to create such pure land and manifest naturally, thus helping the cultivators and their disciples who know how to connect directly to their vows without themselves having to be there or at any specific place to help. This Pure Land or the Western paradise is in the hearts of those who have developed the cultivation and have the ability to connect directly to Amitabha's Buddha's vows via their silent mind with very strong faith while chanting Amitabha Buddha's name or his mantra. Chant until no one is chanting, i.e., the vibration and the mind has become one in perfect harmony and synchrony. This Pure Land or the Western paradise is not within the 31 planes of existence as taught by the Sakyamuni Buddha. Question 5. What are these 31 planes of existence? Brother Dio answered, according to Theravada tradition, the 31 planes of existence are the realms of existence within samsara or existence where living beings have to undergo birth and death following their karma. It can also be called the three worlds. Number 1, the formless world or arupa loka. 4 formless realms of neither perception nor non-perception, nothingness, infinite consciousness, and infinite space. Number 2, the form world or rupa loka, 16 Brahma realms. The sensual world or kama loka, 6 deva or heavenly realms, plus 1 human realm and 4 woeful states or suffering realms. The sensual realms are further divided into number 1, suffering world of the sensual realms or kama dukati, and they are the 4 woeful realms of demons, animals, petas or hungry ghosts, and the hell beings. Number 2, kama sukati, or the sensual realms of happiness, are the human realm and the 6 deva realms. The Mahayana call it the 6 realms of birth and death, with the 1 human realms plus 4 woeful realms remaining exactly the same, and the only difference is the Mahayana has only 1 heavenly realm to the heavenly realm, rhyme to define all the 6 deva rhymes plus the
16 Brahma rhymes.
16 Brahma realms. And the 4 formless realms. Hence, 1 plus 4 plus 6 plus 16 plus 4 equals to 31 realms or planes of existence. Note: no thought, ever mindful and constantly meditative, imply ever mindful to constantly cultivate the Noble Eightfold Path, equals to heedfulness, Dhammapada verse 23.
I received one message from Alicia. It seems today they cooked our lunch earlier. Then there is a group of Sangha also there, I think. So they started at 11:30 their lunch. But for us, we are advised to go down before 12. So now there is only 10 more minutes to 12. We better stop. Then we come back maybe 10 minutes early. Instead of 1:30, we assemble here 1:20. Okay? So we break now. You can pay respect mindfully to Lord Buddha, Guanyin Bodhisattva, and all the worthy ones. Then mindfully go down for lunch.